Welcome to the Building Up Women in Property podcast. I'm your host, Rebecca Bangura, and I'm thrilled to have you here with me today. This podcast is for ambitious women who work in property and construction, who want to learn how to have a career they love on their terms. Join me every week where I'll leave you excited and confident to take your next steps. Thanks for being here with me. Now let's get started. Hello, thank you for joining me here today. It is great to have you with me. Now, today I want to talk about boundaries. And this is a topic I really love talking about, and I think we don't talk about enough. But I know that lots of people feel very uncomfortable at the mention of boundaries. It makes them feel squeamish and awkward. And I really think we need to just kind of get to the root of this. We need to talk about why we need boundaries, what their function is, why boundaries isn't a dirty word. And I want to give you some tips about how you can actually implement boundaries effectively in your life and in your career so that you can thrive in all areas. Because I really do believe that boundaries are essential to that. And this conversation is not specifically about career. It's a general life topic, really. And as we go through, I want you to think about what areas of my life can I apply this to? And particularly if you are feeling overwhelmed or overworked or frustrated, then talking about boundaries is going to be particularly important for you. So boundaries tend to get a really bad rap, and most of us don't know how to set them properly, and we have this fear that having them will make us selfish. So generally, we avoid putting them in place. But the truth is, boundaries are a game changer if you want to thrive at work, in life, and I want to share with you how to set boundaries, why you need them, and everything else you need to know about boundaries so that they can support you to have the career and the life that you really want. So, what are boundaries? I think of boundaries as being guidelines or limits that determine acceptable behaviours. And in my mind, they serve two functions. The first is that they provide a framework to make sure that our own needs and desires are being met and protected. And the second is that they articulate to others how we expect to be treated. And contrary to popular belief, boundaries are not something that you impose on other people. They are about how you decide to live, how you decide to show up in your life, and they are completely within your control. And I think the best way to describe this is, I think of my boundaries as being a personal protective bubble, which ensures that my own agenda, my priorities, my health, and my happiness all stay on track. And they allow me to show up as the best version of myself in all scenarios. They really enable me to be present, doing what I'm doing when I'm there, and they allow me to switch off and compartmentalize my life effectively so that I can give my juice to the thing that is right in front of me and get the results in that area. And this is why we need them, right? Boundaries are essential to managing our health and to having success in any and all areas of our life and our career, because they do allow us to compartmentalize our lives and to manage both our needs and those of others around us. And whether we realize it or not, we all have these boundaries in place because they are essential for all of us to function, to juggle all the many hats that we have. But that said, in many cases, we aren't actually aware of the boundaries that we have because we've never set them intentionally. We've never taken the time to really think them through and think about their impact. Instead, they've been ideas that we've learned either as children or social norms that we've adopted as we've grown up, and we've just rolled with it. But the more deliberate we become about how we set boundaries and what their purpose is, the more aligned our lives and our careers will be with what we want and how we want to feel. Because setting appropriate boundaries is crucial for living a life on your terms and pursuing your dream career. With that in mind, how do we actually set boundaries? And it's important to keep in mind, we want to set effective boundaries. Boundaries are not something we just have for the sake of having them. They need to serve a purpose. And look, if you're new to this idea of boundaries or you feel uncomfortable with this topic, then I want to suggest that you start small. Focus on one area of your work or your life and work out what is your non-negotiable in this area. So in other words, what is it that will make you happier or saner or bring you closer towards your goal in that area? And sometimes it's about creating space or time to do something that lights you up, and excites you or aligns with your goals and, your broader life vision. And in that case, it's about finding the time to actually make that happen, right? Scheduling it in your diary and blocking out this time to others and treating it the same way you would an important client meeting, right? It should be happening rain, hail, or shine. It's a non-negotiable. Other times it's actually about eliminating or restricting certain things or people in your life. And in the case of sort of difficult relationships, you need to determine what your parameters are for having this person in your life. It's about finding that way to foster the relationship without letting it erode your own confidence or agenda or happiness, and then being able to enforce those boundaries. Now, if you're a bit more advanced on your boundaries journey and you're a bit more comfortable with them, I actually want to invite you here to really up-level your thinking about boundaries, right? Consider all the areas of your life. Think about work, family, health, finances, your relationships, and consider what are those unspoken rules that you have in place that pertain to each of those areas of your life, right? For example, like what are your common understandings about your standard work hours? Like your standard hours at work, 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, but you might be comfortable to stay back till 6 o'clock when it's busy. These expectations of yours, they will reflect your current boundaries for those different areas of your life. So then I want you to really think about, like, what is the life you want? How is it different? And what are your priorities and non-negotiables in that dream life for each of those areas? It might be your morning coffee or a run once a week or avoiding family drama. These non-negotiables can come in lots of shapes and sizes, and they will be unique to you. They are different for each of us. But once we understand these non-negotiables, they actually form the basis of what your boundaries are set up to protect or to achieve. And believe me, you need this space so that you can actually live authentically into your own values and be aligned with the life and the career that you want to have. So think about what lights you up or what aligns with your big picture. And these are the things you need to carve out space for or manage effectively. And again, go back to those questions, right? Consider what will make you happier, healthier, saner, or bring you closer to your goals. Think about how you can actually adjust the existing unspoken rules that you're living by to accommodate your non-negotiables and actually make your dream life that reality. So get really conscious and really intentional here. These form your own personal boundaries that will allow you to shift from living your life in default to actually intentionally creating a life by design.
I hope you've been enjoying the episode. I wanted to take a moment to let you know about my free Career Confidence Masterclass. This is for ambitious career-orientated women who are ready to stop playing small and to confidently create a career you love. Head over to my website, beautifuldisruptions.com, for more info. Now let's get back to the episode.
So once you've worked out your own personal boundaries, it's time to actually shift into implementing them. And how you go about this is up to you, right? Some people like to take a slow and steady approach and make incremental changes. And if that feels good to you, go for it. But you might want to rip the Band-Aid off and actually implement your newly defined boundaries all in one go. Really, determine what approach feels best for you and then run with it. And in some circumstances, you'll want to create the time for things, in which case, schedule this time in, right? Make it in your diary, treat it as sacred, as I said before, or find ways to eliminate or restrict other things. Often this will require you to have an open conversation about your requirements. And keep in mind, this will likely feel uncomfortable to start. But like anything, the more you practice implementing your boundaries, the better you'll become at it. And you should also be open to review what's working and what isn't, and constantly review and refine and adjust your boundaries as you go based on what's working and what aligns with your desires and your needs at the time. Because things will need to shift, and being adaptable is really important. And in order to actually implement boundaries, we need to get over the guilt. We need to stop beating ourselves up for this. We need to do away with boundaries being a dirty word. And there's 3 ideas I want to give you around this. So the first is you need to take care of your own needs before you can effectively help anyone else. This is that concept of, you can't pour from an empty cup. And whilst being selfless sounds like a lovely idea, it doesn't serve you, nor does it serve those that you're trying to support. So instead, I want you to start showing up for others after you've taken care of your own needs, right? And this allows you to powerfully serve them from a place of contentment and fulfillment and joy rather than from duty and resentment, which makes it a more rewarding process for everyone. Now, the second idea is you and you alone are responsible for your happiness. If you want to create a rich, happy, meaningful life for yourself, then you need to take the steps necessary to make it happen. A life like that does not happen by accident. And this means that you need to stop living in default mode and responding to everyone else's needs. And you need to start really living by design, right? By creating space to fulfill your own wants and needs and desires. Start by getting the clarity on what you are trying to achieve and understand why it's important to you, and keep that front of mind. Now, the third thing is no one else cares about your dreams as much as you do. And nor should they, right? This is your life. And if you are serious about pursuing your goals, whether it's professional, personal, whatever it is, if you want to create that life you dream of, then you need to take complete ownership and make it happen, right? And use your boundaries to prioritize the things you need, because no one else is going to do it for you. And I want to leave you finally with a few troubleshooting tips. So if you're struggling to implement boundaries, come back to this list, okay? Number one, do not apologize for having boundaries, right? Do not even enter into that conversation. Boundaries are not selfish. They are you setting expectations and setting a code of conduct. And they are an essential mechanism for allowing you to thrive at work and in your life. Do not apologize for that, because you need to take care of your own needs before you can effectively help anyone else. Number two, communicating your boundaries will make it easier, right? So actually be open to sharing your boundaries with the relevant people in your life, because it will make it easier to manage their expectations. Now, this is not about shouting it from the rooftops. You don't need to involve people that don't need to be involved, but give the people that are impacted by this the heads up that you're making a shift in how you manage and handle things in your own life. Because this allows them to understand and to then work within your new parameters. It gives them a choice and they're not feeling blindsided. So be open to communicating. Number three is don't expect other people to respect or be happy about your newfound boundaries. It is not a requirement for other people to support your boundaries. They are your boundaries. You are the one responsible for enforcing them. This is not something you are doing to other people. It is something you are doing for yourself. It is claiming back your power, your responsibility, your ownership. So if someone else doesn't like that, that's okay. That's their business. You do you, and don't worry about everyone else. You are never going to please everyone else, and everyone else is always going to have an opinion about what you should be doing or how you could be doing things differently. You need to let that go, and you need to be in integrity with what you want and what you're creating in your career and your life. Okay, number four is boundaries will change, right? It's entirely up to you to adjust and amend them as you see fit. Don't be so rigid with yourself that the boundaries stop serving you. They are a tool for you, so use them that way. Adjust, tweak, refine. Consider what's working, what isn't. What could I do differently? And make those changes. Try them out. Be willing to experiment and see what works best for you. Number five is enforcing boundaries can be uncomfortable, because sometimes it does mean prioritizing your needs over the agendas and needs of other people. But it also doesn't need to be a hard process. It can be simple tweaks. And, it might be leaving work on time or making it to yoga once a week. And you are best placed to know how to set boundaries that will support you and the career and the life and the lifestyle that you want. So use them to your advantage and start creating that career and life by design rather than by default. Okay, that's all I've got for you this week. Have a beautiful week. I will see you soon.
Thanks for joining me on the Building Up Women in Property podcast. If you'd like to learn more about what I do, head over to Instagram. I'm at Beautiful Disruptions, and reach out if you want to connect. Have a beautiful day, and I'll see you next time.